Well, right now, as we come on the air assessing the storm damage, this is a look at the roof of the Johnston High School outdoor learning environment blown away into the wind.
On social media, of course, a lot of videos and photos of the storms that rolled through parts of Iowa earlier this evening.
And developing tonight, the Floyd County Sheriff's Office reporting people avoid going into the town of Rudd because of widespread damage there. About 2 hours north of Des Moines, we have heard reports of damage to the library, to the water tower, City Hall, and possibly a church being leveled. Lots of homes damaged as well. Power lines are down right now, and there's a lot of debris in the streets. No injuries are reported, and again, the sheriff is saying the town is closed to people who do not live in Rudd.
Well, thank you for joining us tonight. Damage reported across parts of Iowa.
Of course, Local 5 is on your side. Our crews are in some of those areas where damage has been reported this evening. A Local 5 Chief Meteorologist Brad Edwards is standing by tonight. Local 5's Mary Sugden has been in Johnston, where the roof of the outdoor living environment high school students there blew off. But first, we want to go to Local 5's Larissa Leone. Live in Jefferson, you can hear the wind blowing there, and there was a lot of damage.
Yeah, you guys, to say that this wind is just a little bit, it's an understatement. It is extremely windy out here. And as you can take a look behind me, this used to be a garage. Now, the storms, the wind has definitely ruined this garage completely. You can see the trees over there and the down power lines, and you want to be very mindful about those down power lines when you see that. Now, let's take a look over here to the other side where you can see the house that has had full trees dropped on it and on the deck area and completely ruined it. And you know, so we're just making sure that you guys are being very mindful and being very safe. When we were driving up here, there was a lot of debris in the road and a lot of wind picking up branches that just flew past us. So you really want to be careful in this situation and really be mindful of those down power lines. Again, like I stated earlier, live in Jefferson, Larissa Leone, Local 5 News. We are Iowa.
Larissa, thank you. Our team coverage continues tonight. Our Mary Sugden was in Johnston, where the roof of the outdoor living environment high school students there built just simply blew off. She has more for us from near Northwest 106th and Catalina.
Good evening. We want to show you some of the destruction that these winds caused tonight. Now, we're just outside of Johnston High School, and behind me here, just across the road, that's a classroom shelter that students here designed and built. They actually just held the ribbon cutting for it just this October. Just a few months later, you can see that the roof and some of the pieces of that shelter were ripped off. They came here across the road, and we'll actually show you the force that they had coming across. If you take a look at this light pole, it is bent right now, and you can see that by looking here at the ground. There's about a 3-foot hole there, and it really just shows the force that all of those pieces of the roof really came across this. Now, we know that it was blocking traffic here. This is at Northwest 106th Street and Catalina, blocking traffic for some time, but crews were able to move it safely off here, just off to the side of the high school. But again, this was all part of a project put on together. It was an outdoor learning experience here for students at Johnston High School. We know that a few students were involved in working to design and build this structure, just opening in October. But if no injuries to report here, again, with school not being in session, them not using it at this time, no injuries, and traffic is moving out here at this point. Reporting in Johnston, Mary Sugden, Local 5 News. We are Iowa.
And joining us now on the line is Lieutenant Ryan Evans with the Polk County Sheriff's Office. Lieutenant, thank you for joining us this evening. What are you seeing right now?
A lot of debris in the roadways, power lines down due to power outages. We also have traffic signals that aren't working. So it's just, it's a mess out there. What
kind of damage do you want people to report?
Well, obviously, if you see lines down that aren't being covered, avoid them, but let the authorities know so we can get that taken care of. And then with the smoke in the air that we're seeing it's coming in from out of state, if you see fire, then report that. But if it's just the haze and the smoke, we're very well aware of that.
And most importantly, how can people help you all do your job safely right now?
Luckily, it's later in the evening, but just stay out of the way. Stay home, stay safe. Let us get this stuff cleaned up and move on.
Lieutenant, thank you for your time. We'll be sure to follow up as the cleanup continues through the evening.
Thank you much.
And this is a look right now at some of the active weather from earlier this evening. Incredible visuals. This one's out of Atlantic, which was hit early in the line of storms.
And the high winds and potential tornadoes knocking out power for thousands of Iowans. This is a look at poweroutage.us. Now you can see there are 147,000 outages across the state.
Now, a lot of this happened after dark, so of course we don't know the full scope of the damage here. We're getting reports in throughout the night, but Brad, unprecedented weather.
It is. From the beginning of the day, when we set a record high for the day at 6 a.m., and then we set an all-time record in the afternoon of 74, and then the storms set in, and they had all that fuel to work with. It felt like a spring day. Everybody felt that humidity and that heat out there, and then the thunderstorms used it to their advantage to make for severe weather. You can see this loop going back to this afternoon. Thunderstorms coming out of Nebraska, marching through Iowa. Of course, we weren't the only ones with severe weather. They had a tornado warning just a few minutes ago in Wisconsin at this hour. Now it's all severe thunderstorm warnings. A little bit of snow in the backside, but this is more of a spring storm really than a winter storm. So we got a little bit of snow there on the northern end of the system on the very tail there on the backside. Thunderstorms moving into Davenport right now, still packing some wind out here, but look at all of these storm reports out there. A lot of wind, and there were tornado reports here. I counted 11 and maybe 12. We'll see what it tallies, but at least 11 tornadoes reported in Iowa, more back into Nebraska. And you smelled smoke in the air earlier. It's all because of wildfires down here, and they had dust. So dust made our rain dirty, and the wildfires made our air smoky, and this is where it came from, out of the southwest wind that blew in from Kansas. We are going to continue with that wind tonight. Winds still 50, 60 miles per hour or stronger out there. We had a wind gust of 74 here in Des Moines at 8 o'clock tonight, and that was without any thunderstorms. Temperatures are getting colder. It's 51 in Des Moines, 36 in Carroll. Here comes the cold air. It will be chilly tomorrow. You can see a few clouds in the morning, maybe up north, but generally it's going to be mostly sunny here across the state tomorrow, and it's going to be normal December weather. Temperatures in the mid-40s out there. We are going to see probably a high temperature, maybe reaching 42 here in Des Moines, but temperatures are going to stay chilly for the most part, especially Saturday, a high of only 30 after a high of 74 today. I'll have more details on our stormy weather coming up.
For truck drivers, these severe winds forced many to find a safe spot to wait out the storm. One driver tells Local 5 News, even during the morning and early afternoon hours, he and other truckers were having to work hard to fight against the wind and keep their rigs in their lane, which is why his message to other drivers in these types of severe systems is to stay clear from the semis.
Because they think I'm in my truck doing something goofy, where really I'm fighting the wind and my truck is bouncing all over. So when you're going by, get by the truck. You know, if you want to pass, pass. Don't stay close to us anywhere, because the wind can catch us and move us in one direction.
And this driver tells Local 5 News he planned to wait out the storm this truck stop in Urbandale.